Welcome back to the Heartbreak Diaries. Every morning, as I stare at my reflection in the mirror, I see Sarah, just Sarah, the woman who's a wife, an employee, a friend, a confidant, a simple woman living a simple life. Little did I know how dramatically that reflection would change. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Sarah, and I've always been the kind of person that thrives on consistency. Call me boring, but I've always found comfort in routine. Every morning I wake up next to the love of my life, my husband Mark, brew a pot of coffee, feed our golden retriever, and kiss Mark goodbye before I head into work. Mark. His name brings an involuntary smile to my lips. We met at a college seminar, and it was an attraction of minds before hearts. He's a tall man with an easy smile and sparkling eyes that could make any girl weak. We've been married for 5 beautiful years. Years filled with ups and downs, laughter and tears, arguments and reconciliations, but most importantly, love and understanding. Our home is a cozy little nest filled with pictures of our adventures together, our favorite books, and the warm, welcoming aroma of freshly brewed coffee, our shared addiction. Mark is my rock, patient, understanding, and incredibly kind. Whenever I come home, weary from a long day at work, his warm embrace is all the comfort I need. He's the kind of husband every woman dreams of. A man who encourages his woman to fly high but is always there to catch her if she falls. Our relationship is built on respect, mutual admiration, and an understanding, which might seem ancient in today's fast-paced world. He's not just my husband, he's my best friend, my lover, my confidant, and the biggest cheerleader of my dreams. In the corporate realm, I'm known as a dedicated employee, a hard worker. I work for a tech company, navigating through the complexities of project management, and I love every bit of it. I enjoy the demanding challenges, the thrill of meeting deadlines, the satisfaction that comes with a well-executed project. It's not just a job, but my passion. And then there's Lisa, my boss. She's an enigma wrapped in a conundrum, a powerful woman in a male-dominated field. I admire her enormously. Her grit, her tenacity, her ability to command respect in a room full of towering egos is nothing short of awe-inspiring. But there's also a softer side to Lisa, a side I've had the privilege to see. We've spent countless hours tucked away in her office, churning strategies for new projects, brainstorming ideas, or simply sharing life stories over cups of coffee. She's not just my boss, but a mentor and a friend. So, that's me, Sarah, a woman juggling 2 worlds, 2 roles, the devoted wife and the committed employee. As I maneuvered through my personal and professional life, I had no idea about the tumultuous wave that was about to hit me. The calm and composed beaches of my life were on the brink of witnessing a storm that would challenge my beliefs, question my desires, and engulf everything I held dear. Life, with its incredible unpredictability, was about to take me on a journey I'd never anticipated. A journey that would push me off the edge, only to teach me how to fly. Little did I know, as I continued with my seemingly perfect life, that the winds of change had already started to swirl, preparing to turn my world upside down. Welcome to my story, the tale of an ordinary woman about to embark on an extraordinary journey. A journey filled with passion, guilt, betrayal, and self-discovery. But for now, I was simply Sarah, standing on the precipice of a life-altering story, blissfully unaware of what was to come. My life has always been about seamlessly weaving through my dual roles at home and work. I thrived on balance until the day this balance started to wobble. It began as a mere project, a new challenge at work. But little did I know then how this project would project a new path for my life. Lisa and I had been tasked with handling a mammoth project, one that required countless hours of planning, strategizing, and execution. The corporate wolves were watching, and the pressure to perform was immense. We plunged into the project headfirst, dedicating days and nights to it. We were committed to leaving no stone unturned to make it a success. We spent hours together inside the confines of our cubicles, our conversations stretching from boardroom strategies to personal life. Through every discussion, Every shared lunch, every heated argument, and every congratulatory high five, I got to know Lisa on a level I hadn't explored before. Lisa, the boss, started fading, and Lisa, the woman, started emerging. I discovered her sense of humor, her love for cooking, her passion for indie music, her fears, and her dreams. I found myself drawn towards Lisa not out of professional obligation or admiration, but something deeper, something I hadn't felt before. It was during one such late-night work marathon, when we were buried neck-deep in charts and reports, that something changed. Lisa, in a moment of utter fatigue and frustration, had let out a loud groan and collapsed into the chair next to me. We both laughed. It was infectious, starting as a chuckle and ending in a fit of giggles that had us clutching our stomachs. As our laughter subsided, our eyes met. There was an unusual warmth in her gaze, an electricity that startled me. I felt a sudden wave of something I couldn't name, something that made my heart flutter like a trapped bird. Was it just exhaustion playing tricks on me? I shrugged it off then, but that moment stuck with me, replaying in the back of my mind. As days turned into weeks, our professional relationship started to morph into something else. I noticed how her presence started affecting me. A mere smile from Lisa could brighten up my day. A word of praise would set my heart soaring, and a casual touch would send an inexplicable shiver down my spine. Each encounter, each stolen glance, each shared laugh was like another tick on an imaginary checklist I didn't know I was making. Being with Lisa started feeling different. There was an undercurrent of something more than friendship. I found myself looking forward to our meetings, anticipating our conversations, and even dressing up a little more than usual for work. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, Lisa invited me over for dinner at her place. It was supposed to be a casual meal, a small break from our strenuous schedule. But as I crossed the threshold of her apartment, I felt a strange nervousness creeping into me. It was a feeling I had not felt since my first date with Mark. As the night progressed, filled with laughter, shared secrets, and comforting silences, I realized what I was feeling: attraction. My heart began a marathon as the realization hit me. I was attracted to Lisa. I, Sarah, a married woman, a dedicated wife, was undeniably, irrevocably attracted to another woman. My mind was a whirlwind of questions and denials, but my heart hummed a different tune. It was a melody of unspoken words, a rhythm of unsaid feelings, and a song of an unexpected attraction. As I drove back home that night, my mind raced with my heartbeat. What was happening to me? This was uncharted territory. I had no map, no compass. I was lost in a sea of emotions that were as exciting as they were terrifying. Little did I know then that this was just the spark. The flame was yet to come. Starting from a mere assignment, the project had taken a personal turn. It was no longer about graphs, numbers, or corporate success. It had become a project of self-discovery, a journey into a side of me I didn't know existed. I was standing on the brink of a precipice, staring at the abyss of uncertainty. Yet, I was drawn towards it, drawn to Lisa, like a moth to a flame. The realization of my attraction to Lisa set off a chain of emotions, casting ripples through the serene lake of my life. Each day that followed was an emotional roller coaster: joy, fear, anticipation, guilt. I would swing between these conflicting emotions, pushing me into a whirlpool of confusion and self-doubt. I would wake up next to Mark, the man I had loved and cherished for years, only to find my thoughts drifting towards Lisa. The guilt would gnaw at me, ripping my insides apart. Each stolen moment with Lisa felt like a betrayal to Mark. My heart was at war with itself. The Sarah who loved Mark was battling the Sarah who was attracted to Lisa. I felt like a tightrope walker, teetering between two skyscrapers, love and passion, with a chasm of guilt and confusion underneath. Every morning, I would look at Mark, still sleeping peacefully, oblivious to the turmoil raging within me. I would hold him close, hoping that my love for him would overpower this newfound attraction. I longed for normality, for the simplicity of our love, but each memory of Lisa would shatter that longing. At work, things were no different. Each meeting with Lisa was a mixture of anticipation and dread. Our shared smiles held a deeper meaning. Our work discussions were layered with unspoken words. I could feel the electricity humming between us, a silent song of attraction that was becoming increasingly hard to ignore. I remember one particular day after an intense brainstorming session, Lisa and I were left alone in the conference room. Our laughter still echoed in the air. As I was leaving, she reached out to touch my arm, a simple act that had a profound effect. I could feel the jolt of electricity, a warm rush of desire. Time stood still, and it was just Lisa and me, lost in each other's eyes. The tension was palpable, the air between us heavy with unspoken words. I sensed her moving closer, her breath mingling with mine. I should have stepped back, but I didn't. I wanted to, yet part of me yearned for her closeness. It was a moment that could have changed everything, but the ringing of my phone broke the spell. It was Mark. The sound of his voice was like a splash of cold water. Reality came crashing down, and guilt washed over me. I mumbled an excuse and rushed out of the room, but that moment was seared into my mind. That moment, our almost kiss. Each night I would lay beside Mark, guilt gnawing at my heart. My mind was a tornado of thoughts, all converging to one question. What was I doing? I was playing a risky game, a game that threatened my marriage, my love, my life as I knew it. I couldn't deny the truth anymore. I was attracted to Lisa, but I loved Mark. I wished I could talk to someone, unburden my heart. But who could understand? The world saw me as Mark's wife, and I didn't want to tarnish that image. I was trapped in a labyrinth of my emotions with no way out. Every night I prayed for clarity, for guidance. But every morning I woke up even more confused, even more torn. I was falling into an abyss, and I had no idea how to stop. My heart was a battlefield, and I felt powerless, torn between the comforting love of Mark and the exciting pull of Lisa. No matter which way I looked, I could see no resolution, no end to this turmoil. I was living a double life, and the weight of my secret was becoming unbearable. Welcome to my world, a world I never imagined I would inhabit. A world filled not only with love and commitment, but with hidden desires and guilty secrets. A world where I was torn between two hearts. Mark, my love, my home, and Lisa, my passion, my secret. My life started to feel like a ticking bomb with each passing day, and I was racing against time, each tick echoing louder in my ear. Could Mark sense it too? The shift in my emotions, my increasing distraction, my restlessness? My heart pounded with trepidation each time his eyes met mine, searching, questioning. It was one such morning when I noticed a change in Mark. His smile didn't reach his eyes anymore, his laughter felt forced, and his touch felt probing. The conversations that once flowed freely had turned into awkward silences. His affectionate gaze bore a paleness, a quiet unrest. He had begun to suspect. As days turned into weeks, Mark's probing gaze evolved into a stare filled with unasked questions and half-formed accusations. My heart sank with guilt and dread. Had he discovered my secret? Was our world about to crumble? Then it happened. I returned home from work one evening to find Mark sitting in our living room, a hurricane of emotions reflected in his eyes. His face was pale, his hands clenched around a bunch of papers. My heart hammered in my chest. Time seemed to stand still. The room was filled with thick tension, and I could barely breathe. Those papers. My heart skipped a beat as my eyes fell on them. They were the emails, the exchange of words that Lisa and I had shared. The harmless work discussions peppered with personal thoughts, shared laughter, and subtle innuendos. The veiled confessions of a growing friendship morphing into something more. The undeniable evidence of my clandestine feelings. How did he find them? The question echoed in my mind, but the answer hardly mattered now. My secret was out, exposed. Mark finally looked up at me. His eyes, usually filled with love, were cold and distant. He threw the emails on the table. Their innocent white contrasted starkly with the gravity of their contents. His voice, when he finally spoke, was low and strained. "Sarah, what is this?" The question hung in the air, a question simple in its phrasing, yet loaded with accusations, hurt, betrayal. I opened my mouth to respond, but words failed me. I was drowning in a pool of guilt, my world collapsing around me. The barrage of words that followed was a blur. Words of betrayal, questioning our love, our marriage, everything we stood for. Each word was like a dagger, piercing my heart, leaving it bleeding profusely. I felt naked, my secrets laid bare under Mark's heartbroken gaze. Through the storm of accusations, Mark's words hit me like a thunderbolt. "Is it Lisa?" The question was direct, scorching, laying out the elephant in the room. I could only nod, a silent confession. I could see him shatter. The pain in his eyes was a mirror to my guilt. I had broken us. I had betrayed our love. Tears blurred my vision as I tried to explain, tried to articulate my emotional turmoil. But words felt inadequate against the enormity of my betrayal. My pleas for understanding were met with silence, a silence louder than any accusation. My confession hung in the room like a death sentence. That night, our home, once filled with love and laughter, resonated with the echoes of my betrayal. Mark and I, once inseparable, were now two broken pieces of a picture-perfect love story. Welcome to my unraveling, a world where love turned into betrayal, trust into suspicion, and a secret into a heart-wrenching confrontation. This is my story. The tale of a devoted wife turned into an unfaithful lover. The saga continues, caught between Mark, the husband I betrayed, and Lisa, the woman who ignited my secret passion. My world, once a harmonious symphony, had turned into a discordant mess. The revelation of my secret, my betrayal, was like a chink in our armored love, and our bond was fraying at the edges. Each day was a struggle. The house, which resonated with our shared laughter, now echoed with a deafening silence. Mark and I were like two strangers, gingerly navigating the remnants of our fractured relationship. Our conversations, once filled with warmth and affection, had turned cold, full of recriminations and bitter silences. And me? I was a woman trapped within the walls of my guilt. The mirror reflected a woman, ravaged by her secrets, her lies. My love for Mark, once a comforting blanket, felt like a noose tightening around my neck. How had we come to this point? The question haunted me, the answer eluding me. Our crumbling marriage was mirrored in the devastation etched deep in Mark's eyes. He was a man wronged, his trust shattered by the woman he loved. His smiles had disappeared, replaced by a hardened expression. His laughter, once my solace, was lost. The ghost of my betrayal had sucked the joy out of him, leaving a hollowed remnant of the men I fell in love with. My pain was a mirror image of his. With each passing moment, I felt the weight of my actions, the enormity of my betrayal, pressing down on me. The guilt was relentless, a constant reminder of the love I had jeopardized, the sacred vows I had broken. Our love story was morphing into a tragedy, and I was the instigator. At work, the ripples of my secret had begun to spread, causing havoc in my professional life. Hushed whispers followed me around. Curious eyes watched me with an unsettling mix of pity and scandalous interest. Lisa and I, once the formidable duo, were now the hot topic of the office gossip mill. Lisa was under the scanner too. Her professional reputation, painstakingly built over the years, was under threat. Whispers of favoritism, unprofessional conduct marred her hard-earned image. The woman who was once highly regarded was now at the receiving end of disdainful stares. Our work, once our shared passion, suffered. The once invincible team of Lisa and Sarah was crumbling under the weight of rumors, unspoken accusations, and guilty secrets. The project we had worked on with our heart and soul was now hanging by a thread. Our professional success was in jeopardy, and all we had to blame was our personal indiscretions. Meanwhile, my relationship with Lisa was strained. The warmth had evaporated, leaving a strained cordiality. Our conversations were strictly professional, punctuated by awkward silences. I could see the guilt reflecting in her eyes, mirroring my own. We were two women treading on thin ice, fearing the crack that would plunge us into the cold depths of consequences. This was the aftermath of my actions, the consequence of my forbidden romance. I had set a domino effect into motion, and I was helplessly watching as my world tumbled around me. I was caught in a storm, my love, my life, and my professional reputation at stake. Welcome to my world, a world where love transpired into betrayal, trust into guilt, and a secret into a scandal. This is my tale, a story of a devoted wife turned into a woman of scandal, a woman caught in the whirlwind of her actions. This is Sarah stumbling through the consequences of her actions, torn between Mark, my betrayed husband, and Lisa, the woman who shared my guilty secret. Life had become a kaleidoscope of guilt, regret, and harsh lessons. Each day was a reminder of the wounds I had inflicted, the hearts I had broken. The mirror no longer reflected the Sarah I once was. It showed a woman scarred by her actions, a woman navigating through the rubble of her life seeking redemption. Mark and I were now living separate lives, bound only by the remnants of our love. Being in the same space was a painful reminder of our shared memories, our love, and my betrayal. The silence that stretched between us was a chasm of unsaid words, regret, and lost love. Lisa and I faced the consequences at work. Our professional reputations took a hit. The project we had put our heart and soul into was handed over to another team. Our success story had turned into a cautionary tale, but the toughest blow was the loss of my mentor, my friend. Our relationship had morphed from friendship to attraction, and now, regret. It was during these tumultuous times that I learned the most important lesson of life. Actions have consequences. Draped in the cloak of my guilt and regret, I was finally seeing clearly. I had let my emotions dictate my actions without considering their impact. And here I was, bearing the brunt of my impulsivity. I started focusing on making amends, seeking forgiveness from the person I had wronged most, myself. My choices had led me down this path, and I needed to forgive myself before anyone else. The road to self-forgiveness was not an easy one. It was paved with regret, recollections, and harsh self-realizations. Simultaneously, I needed to mend the bridges I had burned with Mark. Over time, our heated confrontations turned into somber discussions. I apologized over and over for my betrayal, my actions. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't expect it. I wanted Mark to know how truly sorry I was. And, I think, part of him understood. Yet we both knew things would never be the same again. At the same time, Lisa and I too were dealing with the fallout. We faced the damage head-on, accepting our professional knocks, working hard to regain the respect we had lost. We kept our interactions strictly professional. The unwelcome ghost of our past kept at bay. Behind closed doors, Lisa and I had the toughest conversations. Apologies were exchanged, along with an understanding of the need to rebuild our lives separately. Our attraction, once a thrilling secret, was now a common regret. We needed closure, and in the privacy of her office, we allowed ourselves that. I saw Lisa, the woman I was attracted to, morph back into Lisa, my boss, my mentor. It was a hard step, but a necessary one. The redemption I sought was not just about saying sorry. It was about learning, growing, and becoming a better version of myself. The guilt, the pain, and the regret, instead of crushing me, were reshaping me. I was learning to own my mistakes, to learn from them, and most importantly, to make sure they were not repeated. Welcome to my redemption, a journey marked by tough lessons, seeking forgiveness, and personal growth. This is my story, the tale of a woman rising from her own ashes, striving to turn her wrongs into rights. I am Sarah, navigating the road to redemption, torn between the love I lost in Mark and the lesson I learned with Lisa. This is my quest for forgiveness, my journey of self-discovery, my path to becoming the woman I should have been all along. In the eye of the storm that was my life, I found an unlikely shelter, self-discovery. Life, in its most unkind form, had handed me a chance to explore who I truly was, beyond the labels of being a wife, a loyal employee, a friend. I was Sarah, a woman with her unique identity, and it was high time I recognized her. My affair with Lisa, albeit filled with regret, served as a catalyst. It had forced me to confront the parts of myself I had ignored, misunderstood, or even denied. I had to acknowledge the fact that my attraction towards Lisa was a part of who I was. I was not just a woman who loved her husband. I was a woman who could find another woman appealing. In my path towards self-discovery, I found a strength I never knew I possessed. To accept myself, flaws at all, was an empowering experience. I was no longer running away from my reflections, my truths. Instead, I was embracing them, making them a part of my identity, my story. It was not an easy path to tread. It demanded courage, acceptance, and a lot of soul-searching. I saw a change in Lisa, too. The woman who was once my boss had turned into a friend. Our affair had pushed her, too, onto a path of self-exploration. She was navigating her own journey, grappling with her emotions, her professional setback, and her self-image. The scandal had taken its toll, but it had also sparked an awakening. Lisa was rediscovering herself, just like I was. As the dust settled, I noticed a shift in my world. There was calm, a strange peace, and an acceptance that everything happens for a reason. I had wronged Mark, risked my professional reputation, and hurt the people I cared about. Yet, in this chaos, I had found a new perspective, a new understanding of myself. The one thing that this entire journey had taught me was that love, in its many forms, was complex. It could comfort yet cause pain. It could heal yet wreck you. It could make you yet break you. But most importantly, it could be a mirror reflecting your deepest truths, your hidden layers. My love for Mark, my attraction towards Lisa, had led me on a journey of self-discovery. And for that, I was grateful. My story might have been smeared with regret, guilt, and heartbreak. Still, it was also tinged with important life lessons, self-discovery, and acceptance. I had walked through the fire, endured the flames, and emerged a better, stronger person. To everyone who stands at the crossroads of love, desire, and choices, remember, there's no black and white. The human heart is capable of a wide range of emotions, each contradicting the other, yet coexisting. And in this complex web of feelings, you will find the lessons that shape you, define you. Don't be scared to confront them. Welcome to the conclusion of my tale, a tale that started as a forbidden romance and ended as a journey of self-discovery. This is my story, the story of Sarah, caught between the love for her husband, Mark, and her attraction towards Lisa. It's the account of a woman who walked a rocky path only to discover her true self at its end. This is a lesson on love, its complexities, its power, and its potential to transform us. And now onto our second story here at the Heartbreak Diaries.
Buckle up, Reddit. My name's Ollie, and I'm here to reel out a tale that's better suited for a Hollywood movie than a man's life. This isn't some run-of-the-mill situation. No, my friends, this is the story of how my seemingly picture-perfect life was flipped on its head, and how it all spiraled into an emotional whirlwind of deceit, passion, and heart-wrenching revelations. Let's rewind about 15 years. Back then, my wife and I epitomized what it meant to be the perfect couple, or so we were led to believe. Our love was the kind that people write songs about, the kind that was infectious and inspiring all at once. We were two halves of a whole, completing each other in a way that was almost poetic. Our marriage was a mosaic of beautiful, intimate moments that seemed to effortlessly stitch together, creating a breathtaking, albeit deceptive, mural of marital bliss. Throughout those 15 years of shared smiles, tears, triumphs, and tribulations, we weathered the storm, always emerging stronger, always pushing through. Our robust partnership was the envy of our friends and family. We had it all, or at least we had the illusion of it all. Next to being a husband, my role as a father was what truly defined me. My children were the beacon of light that illuminated my life, the apple of my eyes. There was nothing quite like the joy of hearing their boisterous laughs echo through our home, or the absolute pride that swelled within me at their smallest achievements. They were my little comrades. We were a team, the three musketeers taking on life together. Our home was filled with love and laughter, punctuated by late-night family movie marathons impromptu dance-offs, and bedtime stories that often stretched into the wee hours of the night. We were a harmonious symphony playing in perfect sync, each note resonating with the warmth and love that we had fostered over the years. From the outside, it must have looked like we were living the dream. But as the age-old saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. What seemed like an idyllic oasis of serenity was on the brink of turning into a hotbed of deceit and betrayal. Prepare for a shift in gears, my friends. Because beyond the suburban paradise and the mirage of marital bliss was simmering a cauldron of secrets and lies. And just like a ticking time bomb, the truth had a way of detonating at the most unexpected moments, tearing down the facade and exposing the raw, heartbreaking reality. In the chapters to come, I will take you down the winding path of my past, revealing the shocking truths that lay hidden beneath the surface of our seemingly perfect existence. This is no ordinary tale. It's a vivacious vortex of love, betrayal, and an unthinkable twist of fate that would challenge everything I thought I knew about relationships, trust, and forgiveness. Stay with me as I peel back the layers of this extraordinary odyssey. Get ready for the roller coaster ride that was my life. A thrilling saga of unexpected turns and jarring realities that can shake even the most steadfast among us. So, strap in, Reddit, for my tale is just beginning. Like a suspense thriller, each revelation, each twist will pull you deeper into this journey. A journey that explores the darkest corners of relationships, the fragility of trust, and the consequences of betrayal. Until the next update, remember, even the happiest-looking families on the outside can hide a whirlpool of secrets. I was about to discover that my enchanted life wasn't so enchanting after all. Stay tuned, and I promise you won't see what's coming. Okay, I'm back, Reddit. I'm Ollie, and you're in for another episode of the narrative that was my life. Here, the curtains are drawn back, exposing the finely detailed backdrop of my seemingly idyllic life. The stage is set, the characters unveiled, and today, we take a closer look at what lay behind the veneer of my marriage and my relationship with my children. My wife and I, we were the epitome of marital bliss. At least that's what it looked like from the outside. We were that couple you'd find laughing at our own inside jokes at parties, holding hands on idle Sunday park walks. And our midnight conversations were the stuff of romantic novels. We shared dreams, plans, and a promise to grow old together. We were two halves of a beautiful whole. A lovely, picture-perfect couple, on the surface. Our humble nest was nestled in the heart of a cheery suburb, swathed in an aura of tranquility. The exterior was quintessentially suburban, a white picket fence, a manicured lawn, and a quaint porch. Inside, the walls were adorned with candid photographs, mementos of our joy-filled years. Each room echoed stories of shared laughter, heated disagreements turned into gentle compromises, and nights of intimate whispers under the dim glow of the bedside lamp. Our sanctuary, as my wife and I affectionately called it, was more than just a house. It was the embodiment of our shared dreams. We loved to host. Every celebration, be it a birthday or a holiday, was an elaborate bash. Our home thrived on the ricocheting laughter of our friends, the clinking glasses at weekend dinner parties, and the warm glow of festive decorations. Then, there were my children. My two little rays of sunshine. They were the spark that ignited our family, the glue that held us together. We shared a bond that was nothing short of magical. I was more than just their dad. I was their confidant, their cheerleader, their biggest fan. The elated giggles on our family game nights, their gleaming eyes every Christmas morning, the endless bedtime tales filled with fantastic adventures. Those were the best parts of my day, the moments I cherished. At the break of dawn, before the world awoke, we had our father-children ritual. A morning jog followed by breakfast, the three of us huddled in the kitchen, the scent of pancakes wafting through the air. A perfect start to another day in our happy little universe. I would then drop them off at school, but not before receiving a peck on the cheek and a promise to conquer the day. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, we had our nights, a peaceful routine of dinner, homework, and bedtime stories. My children were my entire world. They were the reason behind my wide smiles and the fire that fueled my dreams. Their achievements, however small, had me beaming with pride, and their woes became mine to bear. Our bond was unshakable, a pillar of comfort amidst the chaos of life. That was our life. The world outside saw a happy family, perfectly attuned to each other, living in harmony. And we believed so too, wrapped snugly in our cocoon of marital bliss, ignorant of the brewing storm. But remember, every silver lining has a cloud. Behind the closed doors of our home, beneath the weight of our everyday laughter, something was amiss. Behind the veil of contentment, a storm was gathering force, ready to upend everything we held dear. In the next chapter, Reddit, I'll delve further into the rising tides that rocked the boat of my almost perfect life. And remember, in the grand theater of life, the first act may have the audience applauding, but it's the plot twists in the second act that gets them at the edge of their seats. Join me again as we push back the curtains further, revealing the bewildering turn of events in my seemingly harmonious life. The tranquility was about to be disrupted, the laughter about to be silenced. Prepare for the storm, my friends. The story is only getting started. It was my son who found the evidence first. He was always a curious boy, filled with a desire to explore and understand the world around him. That afternoon, while rummaging through a forgotten box in the attic, he unearthed a series of letters. Intimate letters between my wife and a man who wasn't me. His name, a familiar one, a close family friend, a man I had trusted. In those scribbled words and hastily drawn hearts, my son, my child, found the shattering truth. His hands were trembling when he shared it with his sister, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. How could they comprehend the volatile complexity of the adult world? They were just children, after all. When they brought those letters to me, their quivering voices and the anxious expressions tugged at my heart. The paper felt heavy in my hands, the inked confessions screaming at me. As I read them, each word was like a punch to my gut. It felt as though the floor had been ripped out from under me, sending me plummeting into an abyss of betrayal and heartbreak. The truth hit me like a rogue wave, unanticipated and destructive, tearing through the ship of my life. My heart pounded in my chest, echoing the silence that had suddenly filled our home. The letters slipped from my hands, cascading to the floor like leaves in autumn. My thoughts were a whirlwind, crashing against the hard wall of reality. It was as if I were standing in a field during a storm, surrounded by the chaos of whirling winds, yet feeling eerie silence within me. The world, as I knew it, was collapsing around me. In the aftermath of the revelation came the inevitable fall, all-encompassing despair. I was numb, unable to grasp the magnitude of the deceit. Each morning I woke up, hoping it was a bad dream, only to be hit by the weight of reality again. The house, once buzzing with the sound of laughter and love, felt desolate and cold. It was no longer our warm abode. It was a monument to a life that seemed like a faraway dream. My children, my lifelines, they watched me crumble, their young minds grappling with emotions they were too young to understand. Their mother, the woman who once personified love and trust for them, was now a stranger. Our tightly knit patchwork family was rapidly unraveling. In the next update, I'll dive deeper into the aftermath of the revelation, the steps we took to brave the storm. The happy illusion of my marriage had been shattered, and lying in its ruins was a man who had to gather his broken pieces and stand tall for his children. Betrayal left a sour taste in my mouth. Anger bubbled within me like a volcano ready to erupt. Yet I contained it, boiling within my own storm. The man I had considered my friend had been having an affair with my wife. The egregious deception was too much to bear. So, I decided to confront the one individual who was as much a victim in this sordid affair as I was, his wife. Her name was Julie, a woman of poise and grace, oblivious to the treachery that had turned her life into a farce. I had always admired her strength, her ability to face life's adversities with an unbroken smile. But the news I carried was bound to shatter her world just as it had shattered mine. It was on a chilly evening when we met. She greeted me with her usual warm smile, but it faltered as she took in the somber expression on my face. As delicately as I could, I revealed the painful truth, allowing the reality of betrayal to sink in. Her reaction was a mirror of my own. disbelief, shock, anger, and finally, a devastating sense of loss. We sat in silence, the full weight of our reality pressing heavily on us. But as the initial shock wore off, a new resolve began to form. We were victims, yes, but we didn't have to stay that way. It was during this conversation, in the shadow of betrayal, that an unprecedented idea took root. We decided on revenge, not petty or vindictive, but a poetic justice of sorts, an affair of our own. It unfolded with a passionate intensity that surprised us both. Our relationship was a paradox, birthed out of a desire for revenge, but blossoming into a genuinely deep connection. It was a bond born of mutual pain and understanding, an intense sense of empathy that connected us at a level we had never experienced with our respective spouses. The affair was a whirlwind of emotions. Each stolen touch, each shared glance was tinged with an indescribable thrill. It was an act of defiance, symbolic of our refusal to be mere victims. Passion consumed us, a fire that seared our sense of betrayal and replaced it with a bittersweet triumph. We found solace in our shared plight, our wounds healing within the warmth of our newfound love. It was a typical evening, the amber hues of the setting sun painting the sky. The door creaked open, and my children walked in, their faces mirroring the weight they carried. Their steely gazes told me something was terribly amiss. They stood in front of me, their hands joined in a symbol of unity. With teary eyes, they confessed to a deceit that staggered my world. As it turned out, the affair they had revealed, the chain of events it had set off, the heartbreak and pain that I had been through, was all based on a lie. They had fabricated the story of the affair between my wife and my friend. The letters were a cruel creation, a plot crafted in the heated impulse of teenage rebellion and frustration. I was speechless, my mind a whirlpool of confusion, my heart pounding against the harsh truth. The room quieted, the ticking of the clock painfully loud. I slumped into the couch, the reality seeping into me. Questions swirled around my head. Why had they lied? It was a desperate cry for attention, they explained. A misguided attempt to shake things up in our all-too-perfect family life. But their confession didn't change the fact that I had acted on their lie. Their deceit had led to another deceit, one that I had willingly committed. The relationship between Julie and me was a tangible reality, a direct consequence of their adolescent fib. How was I to react? What was I to do? I was lost, a mariner in a tempest with no compass to guide me. But amidst the turmoil, a realization dawned. I had allowed a lie to steer the course of my life. Instead of confronting my wife or questioning my friend, I had let anger and hurt dictate my actions, and in the process, I had caused more harm. In the aftermath of the revelation, my relationship with my children faced a turbulent time. They had lied, yes, but it wasn't entirely their burden to bear. The responsibility was shared, a poignant reminder of the consequences of our actions. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but swallow it, I did. In the next update, I'll walk you through how we navigated the choppy waters of broken trust and how we managed to salvage our relationships. Truth was laid bare, the veil of deceit lifted, and we were left to deal with the consequences. Stick with me, folks, as we journey through the aftermath of the fallout and delve into the steep path of redemption and acceptance. Remember, painful as truth might be, it's the lie that leaves a scar. This was the moment my life had been leading to, where I had to face the music and dance along, regardless of the tune. And until we meet again, remember, every storm eventually runs out of rain. My life, caught in an endless downpour, was about to witness the sunshine. The clouds were parting, and in their wake, they left a clear sky and a wiser me. Our tale started with a picture-perfect family living in a tapestry of love and mutual respect. I was happily married, or so it seemed. I had 2 beautiful children whom I adored. We were the quintessential happy family, untouched by the dark clouds of deceit and betrayal, until the storm struck. The discovery of an alleged affair between my wife and my closest friend changed everything. My life, as I had known it, was shattered, and the pieces were scattered across a landscape of lies and treachery. Beyond the wreckage of my marital bliss, I found solidarity and surprising passion with the other innocent victim of this sordid affair. My friend's wife, Julie. Our affair, born out of a desire for revenge, morphed into a genuine bond. We found solace in shared pain, consolation in mutual understanding. It felt like a poetic justice of sorts, an unexpected twist to an otherwise tragic narrative. However, the climax of my story dropped like a bombshell. The affair that had set everything in motion was, in fact, a ruse, a ploy, a lie woven in the vanity of teenage rebellion by my children. The rug was pulled out from under me, yet again. Following the revelation, the aftermath was like navigating a tireless storm. My relationship with my children teetered on a fragile line. I contended with the falsehood of the affair, the birth of my relationship with Julie, and the guilt and realization that followed. As we come to the conclusion, I leave you, my audience, not with a definite ending, but instead with a tableau of life, still in motion. Life, as they say, is not a neatly compiled novel. It's a messy draft filled with edits, crossouts, and rewritten fragments. So, what happens next? Do I confess to Julie about the false pretense that brought us together? Do I reconcile with my wife, mend the fractures in our relationship that stemmed from my misplaced misconceptions? And what becomes of my relationship with my children, woven with threads of love and deception? The answers to these questions are not clear, not yet. Because in reality, neat endings are rare. But the journey, full of pitfalls and peaks, is where the true adventure lies. Life throws curve-balls our way, and it's up to us to either swing and take a chance or duck and let them pass. As for me, I choose to swing. I choose to face the tumultuous waves, to navigate through them, to find my way back. The road ahead is foggy, the end not visible, but I will walk it, for I believe in the resilience of the human spirit, the strength of one's character defined not by the fall, but the stride with which one stands back up. Stay tuned, folks, because just like life, this story isn't over. There are more twists to come, more mountains to climb, more storms to weather. Every day is an unwritten chapter waiting to be filled, every moment a new plot twist in the grand narrative of life. As I sign off this chapter of my life, I leave you with this. Life is unpredictable, filled with unexpected turns. Just when you think you've got it figured out, you realize it was only the beginning. And remember, every end is but a new beginning in disguise, so buckle up, for the ride is far from over. Hello again, Reddit. It's Ollie here. Exactly a year later, and what a year it's been. I appreciate you for sticking by me through this whirlwind that has been my life. In the past year, Julie and I have managed to keep the secret of our affair tucked away in some unreachable corner. Our shared glances, the casual touching of hands when no one's looking, the whispered words on clandestine phone calls. Every stolen moment felt like a carefully choreographed dance. The world around us remained oblivious to the relationship that had once consumed us in its passionate blaze. During family gatherings, we played our parts perfectly, slipping back into the roles of caring spouses, doting parents, and good old friends with effortless ease. The world saw what we projected, a picture of normalcy, of emotions well in check. But beneath the veneer of ordinariness, we bore the weight of a secret that only the two of us shared. Each time I looked at my wife, I saw the woman who I'd once shared an unparalleled bond with. My heart would twinge, a strange concoction of guilt, regret, and lingering affection brewing within me. And yet, when I'd steal glances at Julie, an entirely different set of emotions would surface. I'd remember the intense connection, our shared plight, and a relationship that was born amidst chaos. I perceived an unspoken understanding between Julie and me. It was the understanding that we had embarked on something we couldn't go back from, something that had left an indelible mark on our lives. And yet, we knew that voicing it out was not an option, not when our lives were intricately woven with others, not when there was so much at stake. And so, we carried on, playing our respective roles, painting an elaborate picture for the world to see while carrying an intricate secret within. Our story is a testament to life's unpredictability, a reminder that beneath the surface of normal, countless extraordinary stories breathe and live. In the upcoming days, weeks, and months, who knows what life will bring? Will our secret ever come to light? Or will it remain hidden, forever a chapter of our lives known only to us and you, my Reddit audience? The road ahead remains enigmatic, filled with possibilities, each turn a new adventure, each decision a step towards an unknown future. As we continue to journey through this labyrinth of life, we find solace in the unlikeliest of places and strength in the most unexpected moments.